economy and giving them a family area, family room downstairs.
Absolutely.
Our paneled walls are going to be painted white to lighten up this whole area with a new chandelier or hanging fixture, whatever you call it, in the entryway. So this will all brighten up. We're going to tile the floor right here for the walking area, so if they got mud in their shoes and dirt, it's not going to hurt them. Now we go into the living area. Well, let's do this. Let's start on first. We are going to leave this main wall, at least as a post, and cut all this out of here. Mark, my contractor, actually brought up the idea of cutting it all the way back, and we've got to open this up there and find out what's up there. If you take a look at the floors, you can see that they're all, well, like Mark says, spaghetti oak, but it's the 1.5 inch oak flooring. Flooring people say that they can sand these things down. I forgot to tell you when I first walked into this thing. These people had 27 cats when we got in here. So, as Chris Alvin
did you say 20? Did you say 27?
27 cats.
Oh my gosh!
And you can smell that there were cats in here. Trust me. If you once we get into the living room, I'll show you the floors. You can see it. We found a woman in Vernon that takes cats in and dogs in and gives them away to kids and families that otherwise can't afford having an animal. So she takes care of them, makes sure that they're vet satisfied, and then gives them to kids. So we found her through like one of the neighborhood watch things or something. And anyway, she took 25 of them. There's still 2 of them here, or with the people, the squatters. So yes, yeah, there were 27 cats. It's as Chris Alvin says, it's another challenge.
So how will you, just for purposes, how are you going to deal with the smell and stuff like that? What are some of the things that you'll be able to do to eliminate that?
Once the floors get sanded down, you're going to take a lot of that out of it, because it's basically cat urine all over the place. And I'll show it to you as soon as we come back in the living room. I'm going to show you the bedrooms first. And the walls, we're going to kills first to cover everything, and then repaint them again with well, frankly, the walls will probably be bone white, and the baseboard and maybe the fake false beams will be some other color. But we haven't gotten there yet. But that'll kill the cat smell completely. It'll smell like a new house. It'll once you poly the floors a couple times after they're sanded and use kills on all the walls, it'll kill all that smell. It isn't really as bad as it. Well, it is. It's as bad as it sounds. But anyway, let me show you the bedrooms. We'll come through the kitchen last. Basically, there are 2 small bedrooms with offsetting closets. Clean up the floors, clean up the fin tubes. There'll be new windows, new ceiling fans in each bedroom, and paint them up. Living closet. There's a coat closet right here behind me. This is another bedroom, which is simply just a flip of the one you just saw, and the same exact things are going to happen. Fix up the floor, fix up the fin tube. New electrical fixtures throughout the house, which I think will spruce it up, and the paint will spruce it up. This is not the master bath, but the main bath, which new toilet, new sink, new vanity, and there's a jet tub we're going to try to see if we can fix up or if it works. Clean up the floor, clean up the fin tube, new lighting fixtures and paint, and spruce this thing up. The master bedroom is in here with another bathroom, and it's a very large bedroom that actually goes the whole width of the house with its own bathroom and its own walk-in closet. We have storage in here from the former owner, so I told them I'd leave it, I wouldn't touch it. It's theirs. Wooden floors, same exact thing. New lighting fixtures, new wood. Redo the floors, paint everything, and spruce it up, and it's gonna be nice. We're going to do the same thing in that bathroom as this bathroom, frankly, with vanities, new toilets, fix the fin tube, and so forth. That bathroom has a shower in it, and it's in pretty good shape. So we're just fixing it up. Let's run down here. We're going to the living room. Good sized living room, vaulted ceiling. On the floors. I mean, this will give you an idea of what we were talking about the floors. You have a lot of these kind of stains, which the flooring guys have said that they can grind out or sand out and then polish and make these things pop. So that's what we're planning on doing in this area. Now, this thing out of the area, you can see that there is a fireplace. Absolutely, just got to clean that thing up. It works. The chimney is in great shape on the outside.
That is a really cool fireplace, Scott.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. And it's we're going to pull all this nonsense off and put a, like a black wire cover to it that can just be put on and removed. But spruce this thing up and everything. I think it's going to look cool. Obviously it needs cleaning up. Stone all needs cleaning. And make it work. But I think it's a nice focal point. I really do. It's got a nice hearth, but it needs TLC to clean it up, and that's what we're here for. We are going to lighten this place up, get rid of all the sponge blue, and lighten it up, make it a bone white. Or actually, I'm not getting into colors. I'm going to leave that to Joan. And,
you're a smart man, Scott. You're a smart man.
It's not my first rodeo, Scott.
Yeah, those floors look like they're in really good shape.
No, I think it's really going to be nice once they pop. I mean, they're in good shape oak floors. There's really nothing wrong with them, other than there's 27 cats in this house, man. I mean, that's what needs to be cleaned up. This is the dining area. Obviously, the fixtures, paint it up, fix the floors. New cover plates and so forth. Once these windows, I think a lot of it is, there's 24 windows in this house. Once these windows are all taken care of, I think it's going to be a huge change in this house. I really do. Let's go in the kitchen. We have begun in here by pulling the appliances all out, other than the dishwasher still here. We're going to leave this tile floor and clean it up because I'm not sure it's ever been cleaned. We are going to reuse the cabinets as much as possible, sand them down and paint them. New countertops. This area here, the refrigerator used to sit over there, but what we're going to do is we're going to move that into here. Put the refrigerator standing up right here. And I don't know if you can see this, but this countertop is kind of useless. I don't know, there's a big hole in there and you can't even get in there because they used to have a wall oven sitting here. So we're going to put the refrigerator there, cut the wall oven area out. We're going to send the countertop over to about here, actually about here, so you can actually use that entire corner. We're going to take these two door cabinets out and put in a big lazy Susan, so you got more space in there. And then put a new stove in. Maybe not a new sink, but new faucets. New electrical fixtures, paint this up. Like I said, brighten up the flooring, clean it up because it's probably never been cleaned. And then there's a sitting area over here. And we have kind of two options floating around where we can cut that wall down and have it be a bar top size with stools so that you can eat there. Or we extend this thing out to about here and use bar stools on this side. The problem with this is it doesn't give you, it gives you actually 6 feet or a little bit less for a table and chairs, and that's just not enough. So I'm thinking we're going to do the bar area over there so that they not only have an eating space in here with a table, but they have a bar stool area over there where they can eat. This area here, like I said, once you get these windows out of here and put new windows in, I think it's going to be amazing. Or if you look outside, you guys look outside, there's a pool out here. It is I believe it's a 22-foot diameter pool with a new liner, because I just talked to one of the people here that grew up here. She said it's a new liner, but it hasn't been used in about 6 years. jury's out. I'm looking for some options from all you people out there. Have you ever done one of these? I had a pool when I grew up, but I don't know. New liner, it does not leak. It's kind of a cool spot. Do we fix it up, put a new pump on it? I don't know. The other option, and in fact, my daughter just brought it up, was she loves to pool around with all the trees. We'll go out and come and see it. These French doors are going to be popped out, new French doors. The deck is in halfway decent shape. I weigh 260 pounds and I'm bouncing. I don't feel much. But on the rails, it's got to be sanded and cleaned. I need all new light fixtures, all new gutters. I need a lot of rake and fascia trim because you can see it. A lot of it is rotted. That all needs to be popped off and done. The stairs here need to be done once we do the railings and everything. And all of this siding needs to be power washed to spruce it up.
Now, Scott, when you first started our tour today, you talked a little bit about some of the stuff you had done prior to finding our community that both you and I are a part of, and you talked about looking for that support of that community and getting tied in. Can you talk a little bit about any of the particular classes that has really helped you with your journey in this process, even this deal here? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you know what's funny about that, Scott, is every time I take more of the education, I turn around and I use it somewhere and somehow. I mean, it's like it just recently. I just took the multifamily and the multifamily property management with Johnny Dessauer. And I'm thinking of all the stuff that I could have done and would have done, and because of things that Johnny says. Chris Albin's classes on creative acquisitions, I use that every day. I used it here with, maybe not the original purchase, but the finance, how to put the deal together and make sure it works. Christian George with some of his classes on not contracts, but yes, contracts. I mean, the fix and flip classes with Heather. I've got it's right here. Cash for Keys. Guess where that came from? Came from Heather's class. I copied it out of there yesterday. Every single day I use something, and if it isn't something particularly from Chris Albin or Cowboy Chris or one of those guys, you look at a deal and you go, oh my God, all those guys said that. You kind of put them all together in a package on whenever you need something, you have it in the reservoir or you have it online 24/7 where you can go back. I think Ryan Dodge taught me that. He said, you just go back and you look at this because it's all pinpointed with your notes. You just look up your notes and go, that's what I'm thinking right there. And you hit it and you go right to, where Cowboy Chris is talking about something. So, I mean, is there one individual thing, Scotty? There really isn't. Every deal has 30 of them and it changes every day. That's kind of the beauty of it. And the more you take and the more you look at these things, the more you have it in the reservoir and you say, wait a minute, I know that. I know where that is. It's right there. I can find it. Let me spend a little bit more time and look this up and kill this thing. So every challenge that you come up with, we have it. We have the answer to it. You just have to go and find it. I don't know if that answer your question, Scott. I don't have one.
No. You did really well. I wasn't really looking for anything cookie cutter. I wasn't looking for you didn't even know I was going to ask you that question, which is the beauty of what I love so much about our property tours is every property, every deal is different. Every investor is different. And I appreciate you sharing that.
Every owner is different. Every banking situation is different. Every private money is different. Hard money is different, predicated on what you're walking into. Every single one of these is different. And you just keep rolling with the punches. And frankly, the more education you take and the more you have back in that reservoir, the more you can get involved with. And that's the cool part in my eyes is be in the game, get in the game, stay in the game. That's kind of me. Let's get in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're walking back by the pool here that's kind of covered up by all the vegetation and the trees and
Yeah, but we're going to
and
show it because I'm
yeah,
looking for
go
someone
ahead.
here to help me. Help me with what do I do with this thing? Now, Lauren came up with a beautiful thing. She looked at it and she said, I really like the cover with all the trees and there's plenty of space on the inside. Put a big paved fire pit in there. Okay, there's an option and I like it. Or do you keep the pool? I don't know. Or do you knock the whole thing down? I don't know. I can go any way with it. So I'd love some help from somebody if you've got some ideas. I mean, there's some clever people out there, I know. Anyway, let's walk down through the back.
You bet. As you walk down there, once you show this, we're gonna get to some of these questions because we've got a few questions kind of piling up now. So yeah,
right.
definitely. I think the pool thing is a big decision. I know for me it would be an easy decision. But
Would you tear it out?
What's that?
Would you tear it out?
Absolutely, 100%.
That's what I thought. That's kind of what I figured. That was my
100%.
first. Yep.
Even if it was brand spanking new, now, you know what I'm saying? I would still, that's just me because, you do have a select number there. And I use the word select that want a pool, but you have a lot more that will not buy a house because of the pool.
About every other house in this neighborhood has one, but the ones that are above ground, this guy had one and it's gone. This guy had one and it's gone. And that guy had one and it's gone. All the in-grounders are all still here. About every third house is an in-ground. So it's
and that was the question I was going to ask you. If it's very common in that area, but it again, if it was in-ground, that would be a whole different decision for you, right?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Well, let's walk down. You can keep going with the questions, Scotty. I can answer them.
Okay, good. Let me get to a couple of these questions. Again, we love for people to interact, ask questions. Let me kind of go up here a little bit. Let's make sure we kind of hit them all here because we're going to share the numbers here in a little bit. Yeah, Troy, absolutely. Building relationships is so crucial in whatever you do. Let's see here. Projected number for the rehab. We'll get to that here shortly. Let's see. Okay, they did ask about is there any specific products you're going to use to eliminate the cat smell? Well, you talked about the kills. You talked about sanding the floors, which will help immensely with a fresh coat of paint.
A lot of that smell is coming from that wood. And once it's sanded down and then polished over a couple of coats, you're not going to get that smell.
Right. And yes, he did talk about the kills, KILZ. So you can actually get a primer that is kills and I think that's what you're talking about, Scotty.
That's exactly. It's going to be the base coat on everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And that makes all the difference in the world. So I bought a property that had just 2 dogs in it, but the odor was very strong. And the cat odor tends to be even stronger, but it was very strong. And we did the same thing. We used kills and that took care of it. Let's see what else. Lots of comments about cats. Okay.
Does anybody want?
Yeah, Jen does say the pool adds a lot of value to a home buyer. It does. I believe, Jen, it does add value to a specific home buyer. But just again,
that's Jen Colucci. Jen, you and Vinny come and you can have it.
There you go. That's who it is.
I want about 30 yards of topsoil to cover it, the hole.
Yep. And we're let's get past the pool questions here. Lots of pool questions. Wow. Okay, great question from Jen. Another Jen Colucci question. How did you know whether to use hard money or private? Can you explain the difference between the two? You want to take that one, Scott?
Yeah. Speed. It was either 48 hours or 72 hours from the foreclosures title company and their attorneys to give them $3,558 for earnest money. And then from that point on, the clock's always ticking with hard money. And then from that point on, the clock started ticking in terms of closing dates and down payment dates and what I needed to bring to the table. And the only way I was going to do that was hard and private, because walking into a bank, I mean, you're looking at, I don't know if there's any bankers on here, but 60 days, 90 days. Just, you don't have time to do things like that when you're doing foreclosure auctions. You need to get them and you need to go. So, it was definitely going to be a hard private thing. Luckily I had, like I said, it was my first hard money gig. As soon as I put it out on the street that I was looking for hard money, oh my God, you get inundated. And frankly, now it's worse that I actually have one going. I get calls and emails and texts from 50 of them a month that say, why not us? We have better numbers. We have this. You weren't first in line that day. And that's what it was. Luckily I had that, and I had the dollar amount that I needed to bring to the table on closing day. Thank you, private money guys. You got me over that hump. It's like every day, it's not every day, but every you have a hump, and you just got to hit that hump. It's like Chris Albin's challenges. Kill that challenge, move on to the next one. I didn't have any, I had to do hard and private money. And I've learned a lot about hard money. I've learned a ton about hard money and a lot of things that, frankly, I won't do again. And it's a lot about kind of getting bullied around in terms of the time. You have the right to turn around and say, no, stop. I need a day. I need 2 days. It's, don't give me an hour. And I'll take care of that in my next one. But anyhow, I hope that answered your question. I don't know.
Yeah. The biggest difference, obviously, between hard money and private money is typically with hard money, you're going to pay points, somewhere, between 1 to 5 points. You're going to typically pay 2 points. You're going to typically pay a higher interest than a private lender.
Funny, Scotty, I paid less for the hard. Well, I don't know what you just said. I played less for the hard than the private. But one of those things you need, it's a timing and math problem, and you just have to work in, okay, I need X number for X days or X months. And you work in how much can I, in fact, I did all this on iOS. I did all the math problems on iOS when I came up with what strategies I was going to use. So you just fit in. Okay, I can afford $30,000 at 12% if I started here and get rid of it here. It's all a math problem and a timing situation with this stuff.
Right. Yeah. Now you just referred to iOS. There possibly a lot of folks on today that do not know what iOS.
It's our investor operating software system. You got to listen to Bobby T. I mean,
yeah,
he does it as well as anybody has ever done it. But
he really does explain it well.
I use it every day, every single solitary day. Yes, I'm doing marketing with Marty, but I'm on iOS because I want more real estate, and going between the way I want to purchase them, I need to figure out my strategies on iOS, and frankly, you can run half your show on the software alone. So check it out. It's part of our system.
Yeah, absolutely. So one last question here on the hard money. Someone said, could you just say maybe one thing that you learned about dealing with hard money that will help you in future deals? Just maybe one thing.
Yes. When you use a regular bank and buy, let's say, a home or a condo or something, you have and I don't even know if it's by law, but you have a kind of an unwritten rule that there's a period of time by the time that title company gets you a HUD statement, or if the HUD statement's old, it's their statement that they figure out, the ins and the outs.
Alta statement.
Exactly. It used to be HUD. With this particular deal, I kept asking and asking and asking and asking, and I kept asking and writing just in case something hit the fan. Basically, I wanted it documented. I kept asking for the HUD statement because they kept saying that they use HUD, and I said, well, wait a minute, I thought HUD was kind of passe as of like 2015 or something, and they said, no, we still use HUD. I said, all right, I know how to read a HUD. I've read them before. So, but I didn't get it until about 4 hours before my closing time. So my due diligence in terms of looking at all those numbers was that big. That angered me. That was probably the part that I didn't like the most. And the closings were a little weird. I mean, a lot of you guys have been to closing tables. You go to an attorney's office, you take care of the closing, the title company, the attorneys. I closed it at a Panera Bread with an attorney from Providence, Rhode Island. This is how they do things. So, a little unorthodox. Well, it's kind of like the whole thing was a little unorthodox. But I think one of the things, Scotty, that I learned with all this education is there are a million different ways to skin a cat. You can't look at things with blinders on. You've got to look at the whole picture. And you know what? Make up your own picture and figure it out. Just figure out what the challenge is and kill it. I mean, that's kind of one of the things I learned from, all of this education. And you know what, guys? I haven't been through it all yet. I am still going. I'm in study groups on Thursday nights for AIT. So.
Yeah. So again, Scott, we'll have a lot of people on today that are, just first coming out to see a property tour in the beginning, kind of checking out more about who we are and our community. And that's what these property tours are so awesome for that. You referred to the study group. That is for those who are on today that may have never heard that terminology. We actually have a few different nights a week where we have study groups that you can log into from wherever you are. It could be another country, it could be on a beach, it could be on, anywhere. You can, as long as you have Wi-Fi access, you can log on and you can participate with your classes and study those classes with other investors, other like-minded people. And working in that environment with others really helps. I know I've gone through multiple study groups in the last 5 years, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed every one of them. And again,
I
that's
love my Thursday nights with Eddie Kirch, Scott.
Yes, I haven't been on there in a while, but I used to go on there. That's a really good one.
An amazing knowledge about this business.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, let's kind of talk about the numbers if we could. I'm going to share that right now if that's okay with you. You might be able to look at your screen and see this. I'm pulling it up now. Let me know, Scott, when you can see it.
Hi, Sam.
Yep, it's okay.
Blow them up. I can't see that. All right, there we go. Can you hear me, Scotty?
Don't forget to put your glasses on, Scott. Just kidding.
They're not scripts.
Can you see them now?
I got them.
Okay, so talk a little bit about you've already talked about how you got this through a probate foreclosure type acquisition. You obviously, the fact that you grew up just around the corner, basically, so you knew the area very well. You knew what properties. You talked about it was a family community, and so you knew the area. So you knew the value of the property, right? And you also, one of the things I continue to always talk about is what is just as important as the ARV is knowing who the end customer will be. Who's going to move into your house? Who's going to move into your rental property? If you're doing short-term rentals, who are the folks that are going to be renting your short-term rental? And keep those people in mind as you're looking at your rehab, deciding on making decisions on what you're going to do and not do, things like that. So you already knew all that. And it's, again, that's very powerful, Scott. So let's run through the numbers a little bit here for everybody and kind of explain where you're at here.
Okay. The acquisition price of 138 and change actually has the actual acquisition price was 105 and change, but that has what I brought to the table, which was I don't know, 23 or 24 grand. I don't remember the exact number. So that's including that. So that is the entire acquisition number. Rehab, frankly, Mark and I are still working on that. But that is where it's going to fall somewhere in, and that includes there's not landscaping, but there are trees and brush and so forth being cut down as we speak around the house to get at the windows and get at the siding, and that includes that as well. My money costs, that is, oh, wait a minute. No, I got the rehab. Yeah. The The money costs are both my my hardened privates put together. That's what it's going to cost me. My initial intention was to have this thing kind of taken off my books by August 1st. I still sort of have that in the back of my mind. If it goes into you know, the middle of August, I guess I'm okay, but I have some private money guys that I've got to talk to. My hard money is actually secured for a year. So, so they're not looking for their money back in August. Yeah, go ahead, Sean. So
So
they're not
with your money costs there, Scott, what you did this budget on what, 6 months or less?
I did this budget from April, May, June, July, no, actually 4.
Okay, so
Four
these are
months.
money costs tied into, now your hard money lender that you've referred to a few times.
Yep.
Are you making interest payments as you go along?
I prepaid until July 1.
Okay,
In fact,
yeah,
that
that's
is, and I don't remember the exact numbers off the top, but that's $3,000 out of that 6,200. That was a prepayment, but it is part of the 25 grand that I said I brought to the table, because that was part of the HUD numbers. Was you're prepaying this, you're prepaying your
I
taxes,
see.
and so
Okay.
forth.
Yeah, and that's just one way that a hard money lender may structure the deal. They may want you to prepay interest up front. Some may want interest paid along the way every month. You know, that's something with a hard money lender differing from a private lender. A private lender would not be asking and requiring monthly interest payments. They would receive their return on their investment at the time you sell the property. So
That's absolutely
again, you used your creativity here to put this deal together, and you've got a mix between hard and private, which is very common, guys. It's very, very common. Many investors mix private and hard to get a deal done, because, you know, one of the things, Scott, you talked about more than once is solving problems and coming up with solutions and getting over hurdles. And, real estate investing, guys, is not rocket science, but it's not get rich quicks. There's nothing about it. There is hard work. You've got to put the commitment into it. You've got to get the knowledge. You got to build relationships. And so, yeah, that's all. What about holding costs, Scott? You jumped over that. You've got 4,450 in holding costs. Let everybody know what that represents.
Oh, taxes, utilities. I mean, those are the biggest numbers, because
Insurance, is your insurance in that number?
Insurance was $1,800. So yes, insurance for the house, because you have to have that thing insured immediately as soon as you close. Especially if I've got somebody in the house that you don't know. And I actually have a rider on that, just in case they try to pull something that you don't know about, by the time they are actually out of the house. So,
Right.
no, just all things you have to think about. That's all.
Absolutely.
You were talking about private money, up to 138 on the top, Scott. The 25 of that I brought to the table, that's private money too. That did not come out of my pocket. That was a private investor that I turned around and I said, I need this for a week. And what I did was I took that for the week, and I gave him a relatively large percentage, because I'm only using their money. It wasn't a week. It was probably 2 or 3 weeks. And I gave them a relatively large percentage to make it worth their while. And when another private investor kicked in, I flipped and paid off that first private investor, and then moved on to the second one. So it's a money challenge and a timing challenge, and you just take them one at a time and kill them. That's all.
Awesome. So, again, you said you're still kind of structuring, or you're putting together your rehab budget. You feel real comfortable around that $64,000 figure.
Yes.
So with your rehab costs, your holding costs, your money costs, your selling costs, and how did you establish the ARV at 260?
Appraisal, a couple of realtors, and comps in the area. And
Perfect.
and the comps all came from iOS.
Yes, that's our investor operating software system that you referred to. And for anybody that's a guest on today, that's a software system that we have access to, being a part of our community, tied in with the education. And there's nothing out there that can touch it as far as a tool for real estate investing. So whoever invited you out today, guys, ask them more about it, and they can kind of get you down the right path so you can understand more about it. So your potential profit is right at a little above, or right at $47,000.
That's correct. Yeah,
And
for
guys, we use potential. Marty used, or excuse me, I said Marty. That was a fraudulent slip there. Scott, we use the word potential because in this business, it is potential. If your rehab cost goes up by 10,000, not that you're anticipating that, that potential profit would go down. Okay.
oh, I
And
know, Scotty, I know it can change. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of people working on this house. It's going to change. That's
right.
not going to hit that number. It's going to change. I know it's going to change, and you
Yeah.
just you deal with it as it comes, and
Yeah.
and protect yourself.
Absolutely. So to kind of summarize things, and we're getting toward the top of the hour here, so we've got to wrap up, Scott. This has been incredible. We really, really appreciate you sharing your property. Would love to have you come out, in a couple months when you're wrapping up, and share what what it looks like toward the end. That would be awesome if you're willing to do that.
I'd love to. I'd love to get this thing rocking and closed up and finished. And have
If
you guys.
I could ask you, to wrap up, if I could ask you within about a 1 to 2 minutes, what would you like to share with folks who are on today, who maybe are already a part of the community and they're trying to figure out how to do their first deal, or how to structure their business? Maybe we got people on that have never done a deal. Maybe you got people on today that are just checking this out because they were like you and I were. We were looking for community. We were looking for support. We were looking for knowledgeable people to learn from mentorship and things like that. Within about a minute or two, what could you leave everybody with?
This community and this group and this opportunity gives you it gives you the opportunity to take charge of your life, be not only a real estate investor, but be a good entrepreneur and a good businessman. The Essentials program, I mean, I was frankly angry when I watched that the first 2 or 3 times, only because I've been in business since I was, I don't know, 24, 25 years old, and I'm amazed at how many things I've done wrong. I am amazed at how many chances I took that I didn't have to. I'm amazed at how lucky I was to get where I am now. This group, this community, this opportunity, this education gives you it gives you answers. It gives you ways to do things. It opens your mind. You don't think with blinders on anymore. There are 1,000 ways to answer a question and to take care of a challenge. There aren't 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I mean, you're not just buying, you're not just fixing, flipping, you're not just buy and hold, which I run into so many people that this is all they think real estate is. But I mean, from the notes, from the contract for deeds, from the owner financing, there are 1,000 different ways to do things. And when I look at property now, I don't look at property like I did in the 90s or 2000s. I look at it completely different, because there are 100 different things I can do with that property to make it a good opportunity for me. And frankly, you know what else you're putting, I mean, I've got people here right now that are cleaning up trees and doing this, and it's a company that was hired, that all of the employees are on a second chance, whether it be the law, whether it be some sort of a system that there's something that they have taken before in their life. They're all getting a second chance, and this community
That's
also
awesome.
people out.
Yes, absolutely. That was one of the biggest things, Scott, to wrap up for me, is when I first found this community and I met Marty, just like you did in the very beginning.
Yep.
And Marty Martinborg was who, got me involved and said, hey, you got to check this stuff out. And
I hope Marty's on here right now, Scotty. If he's not, I have a problem.
Yeah, he's on. So I got, I came up and surprised him and drove to Downers Grove and met everybody. And the thing that really, really in my mind that just blew me away was the mindset of paying it forward. The mindset of people that were successful, that were willing to help, that were willing to give you their phone number and you could call them, or willing just to be there as a support. That was amazing. I mean, because in our crazy world today, that's really hard to find.
And you know what,
And
Scotty? Not
yeah.
only are our mentors and the people that are successful in our group, but have you had to pick up or ever wanted to or picked up the phone and call one of the instructors? Because I have.
Oh yeah, I
Guess
have
what?
too.
They answer
Yeah,
the phone.
yeah, absolutely.
And
So
they
guys,
even.
yeah, go ahead, Scott.
I'm just saying it's the community is
Yep.
something that, in my opinion, you can't talk enough about. You just simply can't.
You're so
If
right.
you get involved in
Well,
here,
yeah, we got to go ahead and wrap up, Scott. It is the top of the hour. It is now 12 o'clock Eastern. You've done an incredible job. Sorry to cut you short. I know we could talk for an hour. You could probably talk for hours about everything that you've done today and, your things that you've shared with us.
actually,
Guys, please,
it's going to start raining any minute now.
there you go. So please plug in next Saturday. We'll be on at 11 o'clock Eastern again. We'll be coming from St. Louis, Missouri, right in the Midwest. So we're going to bounce from Connecticut all the way from the Far East right to the dead center of Midwest in St. Louis, and get back with whoever invited you, because there's a lot of things you guys can attend, from workshops to intensives to trainings on that iOS to velocity banking. So guys, Scott, Lauren, Joan, everybody out there, you guys have a great Saturday, a great weekend. And for everybody that's out there that's a mom, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Okay. We'll talk
Thanks,
soon,
everybody.
Scotty.
Thank you very much, everybody. We good? Scotty, we off?